One of the basic theory that I've been using in the study of trauma release was taken and written by a scientist called Wilhelm Reich in the mid-20th century. Wilhelm believed that each of the emotion that was not properly expressed, they are stored in some areas in our physical body, which is called as the belt of tension. On each area of the belt of tension, there is stored the energy from the suppressed emotions. Each of the area, which is called as the belt of tension, includes all of the joints, all of the ligaments, all of the muscles that exist around this area. Create a certain kind of defense system where, for example, a certain emotion arises, there will be a certain kind of movements to hold the tension so that the body will be able to cope with these certain emotions. Therefore, each of this area of tension is defending the whole structure of the body. Each contractions that is happened during the immense emotions, tension, accumulate the energy and create a learning process for the whole structure of the body to defend itself naturally. So in the next moment, when a similar emotion arises, or a person being in the position where they know what kind of emotion it is that is around them, the body automatically go into that mode of defense system, so that the body will know what to do in that certain moment. So on each of this belt of tension, there are accumulations of energy which need to be released. Otherwise, these accumulations of energy will create even deeper tension for the muscles or for the joints or for the ligaments in that certain area, which causing a certain form or certain shape of the physical being in this person. Wilhelm also explained that it is not so difficult to see the tension that happens in a certain belt of tensions area. We can certainly recognize the tension right away because of the form or of the shape of the physical body. The first belt of tension area is the area of the eyes, which including all area of the eyeballs, the area of the eyebrows, and the temple area on the side, and going back through the back side of the head and going around to another side, as well as going to the top of the shape of the forehead and the shape of the skull on the top. These are all the first belt of tension. The first suppressed emotion that relates to this area is relating to the phenomena of suspicion. When a child wanting to know about things or have a lot of questions about the world and about life, and the parents as an adult or the teacher doesn't really give the explanation as expected, as understood by the child. So this naturally create the feeling of suspicious in a child. the child wanting to know of the truth. And this is because they are very innocent and very naturally wanting to learn and explore the world. But then, because the world does not want the child to know about these things, he or she as a child then learn to suppress this feeling of suspicious, and then gradually create a habit of trying to get to know with a sneaky kind of behavior, and therefore there are tension in the eyes area in this case. The second emotion is related to the expression of amusement. When a child is amazed of something, their pupil become bigger. They're being so excited about these things. But then at that moment, the adult would say, don't express it that way. And then at that moment, this child learned to suppress the feeling of amazement, the feelings of gratitude, the feeling of happiness at that moment. So at this time as well, at the same time, the ocular area start to create tension, start to defend itself, as next time when the child feeling excited, he or she cannot express it that way anymore, because the feedback that he got or she got at that moment is not very respectfully appreciating the emotion. The next emotion that relates to the tension in the eyes area is also relates to shame and contentment, and also guarding, and also all of the phenomena that relates to self-value, how the child would see themselves in terms of valuing their existence compared to how they're being around, and this kind of appreciations from the others towards them, and how they learn to value themselves. Each of the feelings that relate to these kind of phenomena give a certain effect to the defense system, relates to the ocular belt of tension. The tension in this, the protective defense system in the eyes area also relates to the phenomena of fighting. If a child have a lot of experience on fighting, whether they will experience it themselves or they see someone else fighting in front of them with their eyes, the eyes will then create defense systems into this kind of phenomena, because in the way they learn, the body learn about a certain situation, even if this situation is not being experienced directly from the child. And if the child will experience himself or herself in the fight, then the tension will be even greater in this belt of tensions of the eyes. The last two emotions that exist in the eye belt of tension, as well as exist in other belt of tension, most commonly is anger and grief. These two emotions of anger and grief are quite complicated emotions that child has not find how properly express this emotion. So therefore, as an adult, we also not knowing how to express this emotion correctly, how to express anger correctly, how to express grief correctly, because each of these emotions, especially anger and grief, when we express it, we need something to witness it, that we express this, because normally it happens through the relations of the outer world that creates this into the inner world. And of course, these two emotions of anger and grief, they are complement each other towards many different, more complex emotions and feelings. So to express this and to approach this, especially these two emotions, we need to be very, very gentle and very, very compassionate to ourselves, and understanding ourselves, and also choosing the person to be vulnerable with and to accept us when we are in this condition, so that at that moment as an adult we're able to express it in the way that allow the healing process happens.